Hello, everybody. My name is Karen Whittemore. I am a family nurse practitioner. I have been in practice for 25 years, and I have some things that I really want to share with you all. Today's topic, I really want to talk about longevity and the whole aging process. So it is surprising to me how often people will blame all of their problems on aging. I even have 36-year-olds who come in and tell me that they've got knee problems and, oh, it's probably because I'm getting old at 36. We blame aging on these problems rather than drinking soda all the time, not getting enough minerals, maybe poor body mechanics. So aging gets blamed for a lot of things. And I want to kind of shift people's perspective on what the potential of aging could be, how we could be aging, and some of the tools that are available to us. Last week, we were kind of talking a little bit about the whole field that encompasses all of us, and about a Tibetan monk abbot who was stating that that field is composed of compassion, that is actually a substance, that is both a substance and a human experience. I want you to remember that as I tell you the next story. So this comes out of Greg Braden's book, The Science of Self-Empowerment. But he had this opportunity of a lifetime to go up into the Himalayas and meet with some of the Tibetan monks and nuns that were there. And he went up one time to this monastery that was 16,000 feet high. That was the elevation of the area. And he met this woman who was known as the geisha. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think of geisha, it's something different, but it's Gheshahe. It's supposed to be the wise person of the monastery. And he had the opportunity of meeting with her and speaking with her, even though he really didn't share the same language as her. She just had this wonderful bright sparkle in her eyes. And afterwards, he was talking with his friend who was so excited for him to get to meet her. And he later found out that the reason why he was so excited for him to meet this woman is because she has that title, the geisha, because she is the one who knows the history of this place. And he thought, well, how can that be? This place is over 100 years old. Well, she actually was 120 years old. And she had this sparkle in her eyes and had this spryness about her. And he found out that there were other people there that were actually older than that, and that some of the men, they would become yogis and go up into caves and live up in the mountains. And there wasn't any record, so there was no real proof of this. But it makes you wonder, okay, what is the possibility of our aging experience? And when he asked her later, well, what is the secret? What is your secret for being able to stay so youthful so long? How have you aged so slowly and are 120 years old? And she told him that she felt that the secret of her youth was compassion. I think that is so important, to be able to have compassion for others and compassion for ourselves. I'm going to tell you a story about the oldest documented person, Li Ching Huen. I'm probably saying the name wrong, but he was born clear back in 1677 in Sichuan, China. And he joined the military, and the military has documentation of when he was born. He was a member of the military for 25 years, and then he retired and was given a letter congratulating him on his retirement. That was at the age of 97. They gave him another letter on his 100th birthday, congratulating him and wishing him a happy birthday. He received another letter from the Chinese military when he turned 150, congratulating him. He received another letter when he turned 200. And he received another letter when he turned 250. And he supposedly died at the age of 256. So this is a picture. We have a picture of what he actually looked like. And this was taken this was at the age of 250. and he supposedly died in 1933. So this is the most well documented case of aging, and certainly you could say, oh, that didn't really happen, or that did happen. The locals have stories. The local people there, the adults had stories of what he was like as they were growing up, and their grandchildren and great grandchildren also had stories of him. So there were a lot of different accounts of this man's existence. And when you asked him what the secret to his aging was, I mean, he had a diet of living on herbs at high elevations and things like that. But he said that his secret was a light heart. So I think it is so important that we really understand that it's not always the tricks that we do. The tricks are wonderful. They can help us. But if we have an emotional state, if we're constantly bitter or worried or angry, then that can have an effect on our heart. If we are stressed out at work or stressed worrying about the future, so many of us are constantly worried about our bills or about, is so-and-so ever going to talk to me again? Is so-and-so going to call me? Is so-and-so not going to call me? Who's going to win the election? Who's not going to win the election? We get hung up in all of these things that we can get all stressed out and worried about. And these things do have an effect on our heart, and anything that affects our heart is going to affect our whole well-being, our heart and our mind. These things are important. These things are sacred. These things are things that we should be treating with respect. These things are the keys to our living a healthy, beautiful, long lifespan. I have always wanted to have a long lifespan and to be able to be a testimony for people that, hey, we can age well. We don't have to just shrivel up and become old, decrepit grandparents and great grandparents like we may have seen our past generations do. I'm 58 years old, and I have been striving for this for many years. In fact, my husband and I would always be talking about tricks that we can do to help enhance our longevity, our aging. And we would talk about this on our walks with our son, who also became very interested in aging. In fact, he's an aging researcher now. He had the wonderful experience of being able to spend a few years in Spain working with Maria Blascow, who was a leading researcher in telomere research. So telomeres are these long strands of DNA, and so think of DNA as these long shoelace strands, and on the end of your shoelaces, you have these little plastic things that help keep the shoelaces from fraying and unraveling. So those little caps on the end, think of that as the little caps on the end of your DNA. We call them telomeres, and as we age, they shorten, 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 shorten. But we have learned that there are things that we can do to help lengthen them, and there are things that we can do to shorten them faster. So we know that if you're eating a lot of junk food, that can shorten them. If you have a lot of stress, that can shorten them. But we also know that meditation, getting adequate sleep at night, healthy diet, these are things that we can do to help maintain our telomeres. Now, David Schmidt, the founder and CEO and scientist behind the LifeWave patches, has talked about the telomeres and how people that have been actually using the X39 patch have actually had tests done on their blood work that measure their telomere length. We know that the shorter your telomeres are, the shorter your lifespan tends to be. You want to have long telomeres. And there have been people that have been wearing these stem cell activation patches, the X39 patch, that have actually lengthened their telomeres by the equivalent of 8 years. That to me is really cool. And that is one of the reasons why I got so excited about LifeWave, is because he has the same goal and interest as I do. He really is dedicated to wanting to find answers to help people live long, full lives, not long, full, I'm going to be 90 and healthy. He's talking about the type of age spans that Li Ching Yuan is purported to have. He's talking about really long lifespans, like is purported in the early stories in the Bible. So let me tell you just a little bit about the X39 patch. What it is it has organic nanocrystals that are embedded in the patch. And as our light, we are made of light, we have light bodies, and you can actually see the light coming off of us if you use night vision goggles, because it's in the form of heat. It's that far infrared light that we're able to see. And that light hits these organic crystals, gets embedded with a particular frequency, goes back into our body, and signals our body to start producing copper peptide. Copper peptide is a particular peptide that has a number of health benefits, but the really fun thing about it is that it goes hand in hand with stem cells. And when we increase our copper peptide, we are also indirectly able to increase our own stem cells. And that's one thing that happens when we age, is that we lose the ability to heal ourselves as effectively. And if you can't heal and you can't make repairs as well, then you start having more problems. You start having the unraveling of the DNA, the chaos that happens with age. And if we can do something to protect ourselves, that can really help us to live a young, youthful, healthy life. And that is one of my favorite things about these patches. A lot of people may not understand frequency medicine. Frequency medicine, when we're working with light hitting your body, that just sounds crazy. It's like, okay, how does light at a specific frequency cause all these things to happen? Well, think about when you go out in the sun, you get exposed to the sunlight, and that stimulates your body. It's like a lock and a key, an evolutionary process that tells your body, hey, it is time to start producing vitamin D. And when you start producing the vitamin D, that has all kinds of healthy effects on your immune system. But it's not giving you vitamin D. It's helping you to produce the vitamin D. It's telling your body it's time to get started. And that's the same principle that's with these patches. It's telling your body, hey, it is time to start producing copper peptide. So I love that we have this tool. And I know that there are a lot of other inventions that David Schmidt is working on. And I'm really looking forward to October, because he's going to be sharing some of the other things that he's working on that are supposed to help us all with our lifespan and to live these healthy, happy lives. So it's not just all about, oh, if I have a problem, I need healing. That is wonderful. We all need these healing tools. But there are some of us that are living very healthy lives that are in it for other things. I want to be youthful. I want to show other people that they can be youthful. I want to dispel this belief that people have that as we get older, we just have to fall apart and just blame this problem on aging and that problem on aging, blame our memory on aging, but blame our back problems on aging, blame our losing our teeth on aging. Sometimes it's more a matter of we're lacking in minerals, we're lacking in our ability to repair ourselves. There may be toxins, there may be other things. And so correcting all of these things and slowing down our telomeres from getting shorter, and maybe even doing something like this amazing patch that can possibly help us to lengthen our telomeres. That to me it's just like magic. It's just golden. And it's something that is available to all of us. So if you are not using the X39 right now and are interested in the stem cell activation patches or any of the other patches from LifeWave, I would urge you to get in touch with the person who invited you here. And if you are not interested in taking advantage of that right now, be aware that the people that I just told you about, they were not using these tools at all. They were using other things. And one of the key components of that is having a healthy, calm heart, having compassion for yourself, having compassion for others. This is so important. He was purported to have 14 wives during his lifespan and 180 children. So hopefully if he had that many children and grandchildren and great grandchildren, hopefully he was a loving, kind soul, because I know that it can be difficult, sometimes raising a family, and a family that size would be quite an undertaking, and you would have to have a lot of patience and love in order to do something like that. So message of the day: love, compassion, and that there are tools out there that can be helpful and that you can take advantage of these. Anyway, that's all I have to share for you today, and I hope to see you next week. Have a great one. Thanks. Bye-bye.